Good evening, my friends.
The Mystery Playhouse, a rebroadcast for the servicemen and women of the United Nations.
Good evening. This is Peter Lauren. The circumstances leading up to horror and tragedy are many times as innocent seeming as a Sunday school picnic, and the perpetrators of evil appear often as ordinary, normal human beings. Yes, but they are capable of conceiving acts of diabolic destruction, as you will hear tonight in the Mystery Playhouse. Listen now to Mr. Boris Karloff in Those Who Walk in Darkness. We look in on a scene taking place in a private room at Bayside Hospital. A man with heavily bandaged eyes lies restlessly in a bed. At his bedside are his wife, Valerie, a nurse, and a famous eye surgeon, Dr. Paul Wade. Dr. Wade looks strangely and intently at his patient before he speaks.
The dressings at midnight and again in the morning, nurse.
Yes, Doctor.
Well, Doctor, what did you find? Will I be blind? Is it very bad?
Now, take it easy, Mr. Denton. There's nothing to worry about. Nothing at all.
You're sure? You aren't just saying that.
I'm quite sure.
Valerie, did you hear that? I'm not going to be blind. Valerie, where are you?
Right here, darling.
Did you hear? I won't be blind. Isn't that wonderful?
Yes, darling, it's marvelous.
You don't sound very excited. Valerie, don't you realize I'm going to see again?
She doesn't sound excited because I don't want you to be excited, Mr. Denton. You've got to relax. Try to sleep.
Sleep? With this ungodly pain? My eyes feel as though they were on fire.
That will stop as soon as the opiate I gave you takes hold. You'll be comfortable, I'm sure. Now, good night.
You're going now, Doctor?
Yes, I'll look in on your husband in the morning.
Stephen.
Yes, Valerie?
Do you mind if I step out into the corridor for a moment?
But you promised not to leave me. I'm afraid, Valerie. Everything's so dark.
The nurse will be here, dear, if you want anything. I just want to ask Dr. Wade some questions.
Questions? But he's already told us that...
Yes, Stephen, I know. But I'd like to find out about the treatment and how I'm to take care of you when we get you home, you know. Just little things.
All right. But hurry back. I want you near me.
I will, dear.
Good night, Mr. Denton.
Good night, Doctor. And thank you.
You're quite welcome. After you, Mrs. Denton.
Thank you.
I suggest we step into the consultation room across the hall. We'll have more privacy.
All right.
Here we are.
Thank you.
Well, it's been a long time, Valerie.
Yes, Paul, it has.
Almost 10 years, isn't it?
About that.
Strange that you should have called me, of all people, to treat your husband's eyes.
Oh, I was panicky, Paul. I didn't know what to do. It all happened so suddenly. Stephen was working in his laboratory at the house when suddenly I heard a violent explosion. I ran in and found him clutching his eyes and screaming, "I'm blind." First thing I thought of was an ambulance. Then you...
Why didn't you think of me 10 years ago?
That's not fair, Paul.
Was it fair to turn your back on me and then to marry a man almost twice your age?
Paul, please, why bring up ancient history?
It isn't ancient history to me. I've never forgotten you.
Paul, about Stephen's eyes.
What about them?
I have a feeling that you weren't telling him the truth.
You're right.
Oh, you mean he's not going to regain his sight? He's going to be blind? Oh, Paul.
You don't expect me to be terribly concerned, do you, Valerie? After all, he did take you away from me.
Don't be vindictive, Paul. It wasn't Stephen's fault. He didn't even know of your existence.
And you never told him that we were on the point of being married.
No, never.
It's rather ironic that we should meet again at the bedside of my rival. Your husband. A man who may forever walk in darkness.
Don't say that, Paul. It's horrible.
But unfortunately true. A moment ago, you told me not to be vindictive. I'm not, really. But if I were, I could have my fill of vengeance if I told him about us. And then told him that he'll be blind forever.
You wouldn't, Paul.
Or I might take another form of revenge. I could tell you that an operation is called for. A very delicate operation.
Are you trying to say that there might be a chance?
Yes. But supposing I refuse to perform the operation?
Paul, you're joking. You can't mean that.
Perhaps not. But you call me vindictive. Suppose I operate and my scalpel slips. What if he dies?
That would be murder. You're not a murderer, Paul. You wouldn't risk your professional reputation. Why must you torment me this way?
You really love him, don't you?
Yes, I do.
Then forget the things that I've been saying. I want you to think of me as a friend. I want you to trust me.
I do trust you, Paul.
Thank you. Now as to the possibility of surgery. Here is the situation. The transparent film over your husband's eyes, the corneas, were burned and torn by the explosion. They've been so damaged that blindness will result, even though the eyes heal.
But you think an operation would cure that?
Possibly, although it's a very delicate job. The injured cornea must be peeled away and replaced by a fresh, healthy one.
Where can you get healthy corneas?
From the eyes of the dead.
Oh.
It isn't quite as horrible as it sounds, Valerie. You know, dying people often will their eyes for just this purpose. We maintain what we call a corneal bank. It's much the same as a blood bank, only but there's this difference. Corneal tissue can't be stored more than 48 hours. It must be fresh, or it's no good.
You have some available in the bank?
No, that's the trouble. I'm afraid we haven't.
But there's got to be some, Paul.
I don't know where, Valerie. Unless...
Unless what?
I was just thinking. Last night, one of the interns asked me to look at a charity case that puzzled him. He lives in a dirty little shack near the waterfront.
Yes, Paul.
I stopped by and examined him. I found an incurable condition. There's no way to save him. He won't live more than a day or two, but his eyes are healthy.
You mean you think he might...
I don't know. You'd have to have his consent, of course.
Take me to him, Paul. I'm sure I can make him understand.
Oh, it may not be so easy, Valerie. He's a strange person. A mystic and a spiritualist.
Let me try. Just take me to him.
All right. We can go there now.
How can anyone live down here, Paul? Wet streets and the fog rolling in from the river. I shudder.
You'd be surprised where people are forced to live. That's the house over there. That gray shack.
Does he live alone?
No. There's a toothless old woman. I don't know where he picked her up, who keeps house for him. She's rather hideous and, I suspect, a bit demented. So don't be frightened when you see her.
I'll try not to be.
Here we are. There's no bell.
Those foghorns are giving me cold shivers.
Yes, they do sound eerie. Here comes the old woman.
Yes?
We'd like to see Chandra, please.
You can't. He's getting ready to go away. Chandra's going on a long journey.
Yes, we know. We'd like to see him before he leaves. We are friends of his.
Eh?
I said we are friends of Chandra. I was here last night. Don't you remember?
All right. Come in. His room's at the end of the hall. You know the way. I have to stay here by the stove. I'm cooking something. Yes, something for Chandra's journey.
I see. Come, Valerie.
Something for Chandra's journey.
Paul, she's ghastly.
But harmless, I'm sure. Here. This is the room.
Dark in there.
Yes, but there's a lamp burning. But the wick is down. I'll turn it up. There, that's better.
Paul, there on the cot. Is he alive?
Yes, still alive. Chandra. Chandra.
Who calls Chandra?
It's Dr. Wade. You remember me? I was here last night.
Yes. Chandra remembers, but it is too late. I am going away on a journey.
I know. That's why I've come. I brought a young lady with me, Chandra. She has a favor to ask.
Chandra has no favors to grant. Soon I will start to the other side.
Let her tell you what she wants, Chandra. Now go ahead, Valerie.
Chandra.
Well,
Chandra. My husband suffered an accident. An explosion. His eyes. Oh, Paul, I can't. You tell him, please.
All right. Can you hear me, Chandra?
I hear you.
Now, this young lady's husband just lost the sight of both his eyes. He'll be completely blind unless I perform an immediate operation. Unless I take parts of two healthy eyes and place them on his. She's asking that you give her your eye. Do you understand?
I understand I am visited by those who would rob me.
But you're going to die anyway.
Die? No, you are wrong. There is no death. I am going on a journey.
Please. Please help me, Chandra.
No, I will need my eyes. I will need them to see into the great beyond, to guide me through eternity. The eyes are the windows of the soul.
I'll give you anything you ask.
No, I said no. Oh.
Oh. Something's happened.
He's dead.
Then it's all right. You can take his eyes.
No, I can't. He refused you.
Paul, listen to me. A doctor's first duty is to the living, to heal them, to make them whole. What responsibility have you to this lifeless thing?
It's a matter of professional ethics, Valerie.
Paul, you've got to do it. For me. Blindness would drive Stephen out of his mind. He's always hated the dark, like a little boy. Paul, please.
It wouldn't be right, Valerie.
It's a matter of life and death, not right or wrong. Paul, you have your surgical kit with you.
Yes, but...
Paul, please. I beg you.
All right. Close the door.
Well, it's good to be home again, Valerie. That hospital room was beginning to get me down.
It's going to be even better once the bandages are taken off.
Yes. Just another week, that's what Wade said. Oh, he's a good doctor, Valerie. I like him.
I'm glad.
Imagine being able to see again after all these weeks of darkness. I've never liked the dark. Why, it will be like coming into a new world. Yes. Tell me, what sort of an operation was it, Valerie?
Well, I don't know.
You don't. You sound like you're trying to hide something.
Oh, don't be silly, Stephen. Oh, that must be Paul. Dr. Wade, no. I'd better let him in, Stephen. I think Jenny's in bed.
Good evening, Mrs. Denton.
Good evening, Doctor.
Sorry I'm so late, but I had an emergency call.
Oh, it's quite all right.
Hello, Doctor.
Well, how is the patient?
Oh, fine, thank you. And anxious to get these bandages off.
Patience is a virtue.
Yes. But blindness is a curse.
Don't be so morbid, Stephen. You're very lucky.
Yes. I know I am. It's a warm night, isn't it, Doctor?
Yes, a lovely night. Stars and a new moon.
They say a new moon's a good omen if you look at it over your left shoulder. Did you know I was superstitious, Doctor?
Well, I guess we all are in one way or another.
Yes. Oh, would it be all right if we took a short walk in the garden while Valerie makes some coffee? That is, if you have the time, Doctor.
Yes, plenty of time.
Well, can't I come along?
Oh, no, this is a stag party. You fix some coffee for us like a good girl, and we'll be back shortly.
All right.
Here, we can go out through the terrace.
Here, let me take your arm.
Thank you, Doctor. What a gorgeous night.
Yes, isn't it? See how the moon is... Oh, sorry, old fellow. I forgot for a moment.
That's all right. I'll be seeing it soon enough, thanks to you. And now you're seeing it for me. Over my left shoulder, I hope.
Why, no. It's the right one.
That's bad luck. Oh, but you couldn't possibly bring me bad luck, Dr. Wade. Not after giving me back my sight. You'll never know what you've done for me.
No?
No. You can't possibly know how much it was because you're not in love with Valerie. Valerie's my life, Doctor. So young, so beautiful. Without eyes, how could I see her beauty? I'm getting on in years, you know, and there'd be very little left for me if I couldn't look at Valerie and see the warmth of her smile. Oh, I don't expect you to understand that. Nobody can understand it except the one who's in love.
Perhaps you're right. It must be very pleasant to see with the eyes of love, even though the eyes are borrowed.
Borrowed? What do you mean?
Oh, why, nothing. Nothing, really.
That's not the truth, Doctor.
Shall we keep walking?
No, I want you to explain what you meant when you said my eyes are borrowed. It had something to do with the operation you performed, did it not?
Now, look,
I won't be put off. I told you I was superstitious.
Give me back my eyes.
Who said that? Dr. Wade?
Who said what?
Give me back my eyes.
There, a strange voice.
I didn't hear anything.
Yes, I heard a voice saying, give me back my eyes.
Give me back my eyes.
There it is again, Doctor. Oh, for the love of heaven, whose voice is it? Tell me. Tell me, I'm blind. I can't see.
I think perhaps we'd better go in, Mr. Denton.
No. I tell you, I heard a voice.
Oh, but you're tired. Now, come.
But all right. I can't understand it. I swear I heard a strange, hollow voice.
There was no voice, at least. None that I heard. Here we are. Step up. That's fine.
Back so soon?
I think you'd better go right to bed, Mr. Denton. You're tired and unnerved.
Yes, I will.
Coffee will be ready in just a few minutes.
Oh, I think I'll retire, Valerie.
Is something wrong, Stephen?
He's tired.
Oh, here, let me help you.
No, don't bother, please. I can find my own way. You stay with Dr. Wade. Doctor, are you sure we didn't hear him?
I'm positive.
I see. Well, good night.
Good night.
I'll be in shortly, Stephen.
All right.
What happened, Paul?
I'd rather not discuss
Oh,
it.
please, you must tell me.
Well, it's something I've been worried about.
What do you mean?
I haven't brought this up before because I was hoping against hope that the thing I feared was not true.
Paul, you don't have to hide anything from me. Is something wrong with Stephen?
I'm afraid so. I'm afraid the explosion injured his brain as well as his eyes.
Paul.
It isn't going to be easy to take, Valerie.
What happened in the garden?
He said he heard a strange voice saying, "Give me back my eye." Oh, I shouldn't be telling you this, Valerie. You're trembling.
Oh. I'm thinking of that Hindu, Chandra. You said he was a mystic, a spiritualist. Do you think it's possible that... Oh, no, it couldn't be.
No, Valerie. I'm afraid Stephen's brain has been affected. And the horrible part of it is that I'm convinced the complete insanity will set in eventually.
Stephen.
I heard what you said, Doctor.
Oh, Stephen.
It's all right, dear.
Stephen, darling.
Come back into the bedroom, Mr. Denton. I want to talk with you. No, Valerie. You stay out here. Or better yet, go and get me some hot water.
Hot water?
Yes, I think I'll change these bandages and I'll want the water boiled. So watch it for at least 6 minutes.
Very well. I'll go to the kitchen.
Now, Mr. Denton, shall we go into your room?
It's no use, Doctor.
Let me guide you. There. That's fine.
I know you're trying to cheer me up, but I tell you it's no use, Dr. Wade. I understand. I'm going mad.
I'm sorry you overheard. After all, I could be wrong. Although
you know it's true.
I may as well be frank with you, Mr. Denton.
Give me back my eyes.
That voice. I tell you, Doctor, I keep hearing that voice.
It's nothing. Your imagination is working overtime. Now, I'll get you a sedative. Valerie? Oh, here you are. I thought you were in the kitchen getting some water for me.
No, I didn't go. You didn't fool me asking for hot water.
Fool you? I'm afraid I don't understand.
You monster. You horrible
What are
monster.
you talking about?
Get away from that door. Let me go into my husband. Let me tell him.
Just a moment.
Get your hands off me. Let me go. I should have known right from the beginning. Instead, I trusted you, had faith in you.
Valerie.
Holding me. You make my skin crawl.
Valerie, I demand an explanation.
You'll get it, all the explanation you want. I suspected something wrong when you sent me for hot water. That was just to get rid of me. Get me out of the way for 6 minutes. But I didn't leave this front room.
Now, listen.
I did listen. Bedroom door didn't quite latch. I saw what you did. He couldn't see you because his poor eyes are bandaged. He's blind. But I saw your lips move, and I heard you say the words, "Give me back my eyes."
Valerie, will you please let me...
If you don't get your hands off me, you unspeakable monster. Trying to drive Stephen mad. Playing on his superstitions, his fear of the dark, of the unknown. To turn him into a raving maniac.
Valerie, be quiet.
Quiet. Why, you filthy, desperate... What was that? Stephen! Stephen! He shot himself. He's dead. Oh, Stephen.
Valerie.
Go away. Go away.
Valerie, it was all for the best.
Best.
Let me talk to you, Valerie. I can explain everything.
You murdered him.
I did it for you, darling, for us. Come into the living room and let me explain.
You murdered him. Just as if you'd held that gun to his head and pulled the trigger yourself.
Please, darling.
Go away. Leave me alone.
Valerie, believe me, I did it to free you from a man who didn't deserve you. I did it so that you could know happiness with me. You're young, Valerie. You have years ahead of you. You're entitled to everything in life. You understand? Come into the living room. There. going to be so happy together. Let me close the door and shut out the last memory of what has gone before. Now, our life is before us. Here, sit down.
My head, Paul. I have a terrible headache.
I'll get you some aspirin. Where is it?
In Stephen's laboratory. I'll get it.
Let me help you. There.
I think it's on the middle shelf. Turn the light on, Paul. The switch is on the right.
I have it. Let me get the aspirin for you.
I can find them more easily.
I've been thinking, Valerie, after this is all over, we are going away on a trip. Perhaps somewhere off in the mountains, or... You've got the wrong bottle, dear. That's not the aspirin.
No. It's one of Stephen's chemicals. It's acid, Paul. Sulfuric acid.
Oh, Valerie, put it back on the shelf. That stuff will burn.
No, Paul. No, you cold-blooded murderer. You're going to know what Stephen knew before you forced him to take his life. You're going to know what it is to walk in darkness.
Valerie.
Forever.
Down my eyes!
There, my friend, is a young lady who takes literally the old adage, an eye for an eye. Thank you, Boris Karloff and cast, for keeping our growing reputation for horror quite intact. And now, ladies and gentlemen, if you'll follow me, please, I want you to visit the green room. The players are rehearsing our next performance. Come. Come, come.
Watson, what do you know about this man Damery?
Damery? What Damery?
Lord Damery, of course. He sent his photograph in all the society weeklies.
Well, naturally, the fellow's a household word in society.
Yes. He's a man of the world with a natural turn for diplomacy, and he's asked me for a 4:30 appointment, which I've granted.
You mean that Lord Damery's coming here, but it's 4:30 now. Look at the mess.
Oh, yes. Sherlock Holmes and the elementary Dr. Watson, played by Basil Rathbone and Nigel Bruce, respectively, will appear in our next tale of mystery. This is Peter Lorre closing the doors of the Mystery Playhouse. Good night. Sleep tight.
This is the Armed Forces Radio Service.
Out of the past, phantoms of a world gone by, speak again the immortal tale, The River Man. Here, where the story of the River Man is told, the seasonal rains are falling, and night is creeping over the countryside. From the windows of a large farmhouse, set back from the road, yellow lamplight falls into the dusky rain. Ahead, beyond the road that curves like a snake along the banks, is the river itself, turbulent, swift, racing to the distant sea. Nearby, emptying its swollen waters into the river, is a deep ravine, and across it hangs a swinging bridge, time and weather worn. Now the rains fall, and in the parlor of the house are 3 people: Josephine, wife of the riverman, Sarah Bell, his teenage daughter, and the hired helper on the farm, Jade.
Sarah Bell, come away from the window.
Pa's been gone more than 6 hours now, Josephine. It's getting night.
Well, don't fret so, Sarah Bell. What with all the rain, maybe Luther thought better and stayed in town. Jade, stop cleaning that gun and say something.
Well, it ain't like Pa to go off and not come back like this. He never done it before.
Bridge might have washed out. You can't tell. Might a lot of rain.
Jade, put that gun down. It gives me the jumps. Anyhow, you can never tell when them things going off.
No bullets in it yet.
I don't care. The way you're pointing it, and if it went off, reckon it'd shoot Sarah Bell right through the heart.
I reckon it would.
Maybe Pa got robbed. Maybe he's just laying by the roadside. His money gone, a bullet in him.
It'd be too bad. All that money gone.
Yeah, I don't reckon you do care about Pa in here. You'd be worried.
Sarah Bell, you're going to get yourself all wrought up again. Why don't you get out your sewing? You ain't finished with that little scarf yet, have you?
Pa and me's got understandings. Ever since Ma died, we've been closer than ever before.
Well, I'm your mother now, Sarah Bell. Ain't I? At least your stepmother. Come on, do like I say.
Can't you see she don't want to sew?
Long's me and Luther's hired you to work, Jabe. Looks like you'd be doing more good if you'd go out and see if them little biddies is all right. That chicken house none too waterproof.
They're all right.
Well, I hope so.
The river's higher than I ever seen it. The water's way up to them rocks yonder.
Guess it'd be too bad if a body got caught in the current. Wash 'em clean down to the sea, wouldn't it?
Sure. And the sharks would eat up what's left.
Fine thing to be saying, Jabe, with Luther missing like he is.
I wish no bring him back. Paul come. But you and Jabe, you wouldn't care if he never did.
Why, Sarah Bell, how come you say that?
I ain't as blind as a bat. I can see what's going on, even if Pa can't.
What's she talking about?
Well, I never. I guess she's mad because I said something to Luther about her running around so much with that boy Wes. Guess next you'll be accusing me of... Well, I don't know what.
I got eyes. I can see what there is to see. I reckon Jabe don't think I know about that buggy he's got hid way back there in the bushes on the other side of the gully. What you got your buggy hid way out there for, Jabe?
It ain't hid, Sarah Bell. Just left it there this morning when I come back from Saddler Wells.
Mighty funny. All full of suitcases and things like you's going away.
Land's sakes. What's she talking about, Jay?
I reckon you better ask her.
I was doing the asking. Seems to me like it's just waiting there. It's all ready to be hitched up. It's ready for somebody to cross that old swinging bridge over the gully and hop in it and drive away quick.
I wish you'd come away from the window and stop saying things that sound like you're accusing somebody of something.
I gotta wait for Pa. It won't be long now before it's night, what with the sky so dark and all.
Well, I'm not going to worry about him. He's past 40 and old enough to take care of himself. Worrying ain't going to help none.
That's right, Joe.
Guess I'll go get my story and read some. Looks like I've been reading that story since last fall, and she ain't married the rich man yet. Ever started, Jake?
Never did have time.
Sure is an interesting story.
You don't care. Neither one of you don't care. He could be just dead on the side of the road somewhere, and you wouldn't care.
Sarah Bell.
Well, it's true. Everybody knows you're married, Pa, just 'cause he's got a good house and money and always had good crops. You never did love Pa the way Mama did.
Now listen here, Sarah
And you
Bell.
shut up, Jabe Hicks. You're just a hired man around here, and you ain't got no say as far as I'm concerned. I told Pa not to sell that timber. I told him not to go to Saddler Wells in all this rain just to pay old Mr. Cooley that money.
You're getting yourself all wrought up, Sarah Bell.
Come on, let her alone.
Well, Luther was right. He should have gone. The debt was due today. After all, it ain't safe having $2,000 laying around the house.
Come on. I'll help clean up supper dishes. We don't want no argument.
Josephine.
Huh?
How come you know Pa got $2,000 for that timber?
How come I know? I just do. That's how come.
Pa told you only got $500. He told me he was telling you that.
Well, he told me different.
Pa never lied to me. Where's the money?
Sarah Bell, don't say something you'll be sorry for.
You got the money, ain't you? I'll bet you have. You hid it someplace.
Sarah Bell.
And that's the reason why you didn't go to town with him, you and Jabe, like you planned to do.
Listen, Sarah Bell, you stop that talk.
You think you're going to run away? I know what you're planning. Well, if anything happens to Pa, I'll get even with you somehow. You just wait and see.
Sarah Bell, where you going?
I'm not going to run away. Not if Pa don't come back, you won't. You wait and see.
Land sakes, what's got in the girl?
I don't know. She acts kind of crazy, if you ask me.
She's got ideas, Jabe. Look, she's running to the barn.
No, she always goes in there, hides when she gets her feelings hurt.
She suspects too much. She found the buggy. I told you not to leave it so close to the house.
Get away from that window, Joe. She'll see you watching.
But look, she's coming out again. She's got something in her hand. Looks like a hacksaw. Well, she's going to get wringing wet.
Yeah, let her.
I wonder where she's going.
Listen, Joe, you're going to stop worrying. I'll tend to Sarah Bell. Just you leave her to me.
Well, you can't wait long. As soon as we find out about Luther. Just as soon as we do.
All right.
If we ever do. Might be days. You don't suppose something could have gone wrong, do you?
No, of course not.
Well, I'm hoping we don't have to wait long. This not knowing's getting me nervous.
7 o'clock. Luther ought to be good and dead by now.
Just let him try getting across this bridge, Pa. Just let him. Now the cable's sawed most through.
Sarah Bell! Sarah Bell! I've been looking for you.
Hello? Hello, Wes?
I got something to tell you, Sarah Bell. Lucky I saw you from the road. Hey, what are you doing out here in the rain by this old swinging bridge for?
Nothing. I'm just looking at the water way down there in the gully.
Hey, don't stand so close to the edge. I run most all away from town. Sarah Bell, that old junk man, you know, the one that comes round for papers and iron. Well, I saw him in Sadler's Wells in his wagon, and he said he saw your pa's carriage go off in the river.
Wes?
Just a little bit after noontime, he said, in all that rain.
Oh.
I was running down the street in town when the old junk man called out to me. He said he didn't see a soul all the way into town. He said he didn't know what to do, but he was sure it was your pa's carriage.
Oh, I told him not to go.
On the curve, he said. He said the carriage was going awful fast.
Wes, take me down there.
But we can't do no good now, Sarah Bell.
Well, then I'll go by myself.
Hey, wait a minute. I'll go with you. Hey, don't cry like that, Sarah Bell. The junkman was crossing a bridge down yonder, and he saw the carriage coming over this road alongside the river. Well, just at the curve up there, one of the wheels come off, he said, and the carriage went over into the water. Sarah Bell, reckon they're all dead. All 3 of them.
All 3?
Yesterday, when I was by, I remember Joe and Jabe was going to Sadler's Wells today with your pa.
Oh, Wes, what am I going to do? He can't be dead. He just can't.
Don't get to crying again, Sarah Bell.
Pa and me. We was always so happy together. Ever since Mama died, I've been looking out after Pa like she told me to.
Sure, Sarah Bell.
Now he's gone.
Maybe when the rain lets up, we can get the carriage pulled out. Maybe they're still in it. Sarah Bell, where are you going?
I gotta look for him, Wes.
Hey, wait a minute. Hey, don't go near that water. You'll get drowned yourself.
He might be just floating around down there on the rocks. Might have been tried to get out, Wes.
Sarah Bell, you're crazy. If they're not still in the carriage, they must have floated down with the current by now.
Pa, it ain't too late, Pa. It ain't too late.
Come on, Sarah Bell. Let me take you home.
No, I gotta wait, Wes. Pa'd want me to wait. Wes, go get somebody to help. Get somebody to help me get Pa out of the river.
Later, Sarah Bell, when the rain stops.
Now, Wes. Go ask your Uncle Henry to help. He could bring some of his field workers. Please, Wes.
But they won't want to come out in this weather. And the water's too swift anyway, don't you see? Before long, somebody ought to be coming from town.
Wes, why don't you do like I say?
Well, all right, Sarabelle. But listen, you go home, will you? And I'll come right back. If I go get Uncle Henry, will you go on home and wait?
Yeah, I will, Wes.
Now, you promise?
All right, Wes, but hurry. It's going to be night before long.
Quick's I can. But when I come back, you better be at home now.
All right, Wes. Paul, wherever you are, it ain't too late. Paul, where's your gumption? You don't want to die. Get up, Paul. Rise up from where you're laying. Rise up and walk. I'm waiting for you to come home. Don't you hear me, Paul? Get up. Get up.
Belle, you're calling me home. I can hear your little heart crying, begging me to come home. Just keep wanting me back, Sarah Belle, and I'll come. I'll come. Keep wanting me home.
Quit walking up and down, Joe. You're getting me fidgety, too.
But it's 8 o'clock already, Jabe. She ain't back yet. I'm just plain worried.
Well, let's hope she got drowned or something. It'll save us a lot of trouble.
I got a funny feeling. Like he ain't dead at all. Like he's somewhere coming home.
You're crazy as Sarabelle. With that carriage wheel loosened like it was, he just couldn't have gone around that curve without going off in the river.
Then I wished we'd hear. Wish somebody'd come and tell us.
I done told you a dozen times.
Maybe if we waited a couple of months. By that time, with Luther dead, you could marry me, Jabe, and everything would be rightly ours. Except for a little for Sarabelle. That'd be safer. 2 months ain't a lifetime.
I got the buggy all packed, ain't I? For 3 days, we've just been waiting for the chance. Now we're going to go through with it.
Sarabelle, where you been?
No need to wonder about Paul any longer. He's gone.
What do you mean?
He's dead. Floating somewhere in the river.
You look all white. You're wet to the bone, too.
I waded in the river some. Trying to find him sunk amongst the rocks.
Sarabelle.
What'd you kill Paul for? Why didn't you just let us alone?
What makes you say we killed him?
Don't take much seeing to know what's going on between you two. Maybe Pa didn't see it so clear, but I can.
Sarabelle, you're sick or something. Come away from the door. Let me get you some dry clothes.
Let her alone, Joe. Let me handle Sarabelle.
You can't do nothing to me, Jabe. I'm not afraid, neither.
What are you talking about?
About how he's going to try and kill me, maybe. Maybe push me in the river so I'll drown like Pa did. So they'll find us both maybe before we floated down to the sea.
Jabe, she looks wild.
Listen, Sarabelle. Don't you want to go out with me and let's look some more for Luther? Together we could find him quicker. Be a shame, wouldn't it, leaving Luther in the river all night?
Get away from me, Jabe.
Don't you want to go out and look for your pa some more?
He can find his own way home.
Jabe, stop this.
He's not going to kill me, Joe. I've been talking to Wes. We was down on the road together. Wes was the one that told me about Paul. If I was found in the river, Wes would know somebody killed me. And anyway, he's going to be sort of surprised when he sees you two live and walking around.
How come you say that?
Because you was planning on going to Sadler Wells with Paul. Because Wes heard you say so yesterday.
What do you mean?
Just for the all right, you should both be out in the river with Paul. You ought to be dead and gone, too.
Sarabelle.
You told Wes we was in the carriage with Luther?
That's crazy. It ain't true.
Why, you little...
Jabe! Sarabelle. Jabe, you...
Deserves some of the meanness knocked out of her. Anyhow, she just fainted.
I'll get some.
You let her alone.
But, Jabe...
She's been lying. She might have seen Wes, but she had no right letting him think we was with Luther in the carriage.
What are you going to do?
Give me a coat. She could have got caught in the current looking for her old man. She could have done that easy. Wes will have to say that could have happened if she's missing.
Jabe, I'm scared. It's going to happen. I can feel it. Maybe we better not do this. Somebody might get to thinking.
She just went wading in the river, went out too far. Here, help me lift her. Skinny little thing, ain't she?
Pa. Pa. Jabe, she's coming too.
I'll fix that, don't worry.
Sherry Bell.
What's that?
What's what?
Sounded like somebody outside calling her.
You just got the jumps, that's all.
Sherry Bell.
Listen.
Sherry Bell.
Who could that be? Look out the window, Joe. See who's coming.
Jabe. It's Luther. It's Luther, Jabe.
You're crazy.
But it is so, Luther. He ain't dead.
Sherry Bell.
Put her down, Jabe. Put her down. Luther, we thought you was dead, Luther. We thought...
I come 'cause she wanted me back. Put her down, Jake.
Sure, Luther, sure.
In the chair here, Jabe. She just fainted a little bit ago, Luther. We was gonna...
Don't touch her. Let Sarah Bell be.
All right, Luther.
Sarah Bell, I come back like you wanted. I come back 'cause you was crying so hard. Open your eyes. Open your eyes. Ain't no danger now, Sarah Bell.
Pa, you're back home. Luther, you're wringing wet. You must be freezing cold, too.
I got a score to even, so I come back for you, Joe. You and Jabe.
What are you talking about?
Luther, there's one of them river crawfish on your coat, Pa.
It ain't gonna hurt you, Sarah Bell.
Get it off, Jabe.
Yes, I ain't a pretty sight. Full of river slime, covered with all them crawling things in the water.
Luther.
But guess I had to come back. After all of a sudden when I seen things so clear. Put your gun down, Jabe. Guns ain't no good.
Yeah, they got bullets in them like this and they're good.
You can't kill me again.
What are you talking about? You talk crazy.
Ain't so crazy for a man to talk about coming back to his home, is it? Back to his wife, so she can watch after him, pick out his clothes, all the river crawfish that crawl in them.
Luther.
Looks like you owe it to me. Seeing's how you and Jabe loosened the wheel on the carriage. So's when I came to the curve down yonder, wasn't nothing else to do but go over.
Oh, you gotta go. You gotta go back.
Sure, but not by myself, Sarah Bell.
You gotta go back where?
Where I come from. Where you two sent me.
Jabe, he's dead. He's a dead man.
Pa!
Get out of here, Luther.
Not by myself. It ain't right by myself.
If you don't get out of here, I'm gonna shoot.
Jabe.
I gotta take you two with me. When I was drowning down yonder, I saw everything clear. I saw how you'd been plotting and planning, waiting for the chance. Knew you'd took the money before it even left the house. Knew you ought to be right beside me, in the carriage, going over in the river. You two was beside me, drowning in the river with me.
Joe, get out of here, run.
So I had to come back, didn't I? To take you with me.
Pa, let him alone.
Are you going easy like, Joe? Are you gonna bring her easy like with you, Jabe? Down to the river?
Joe, get out of here, run to the buggy.
Pa, let him alone.
I ain't no believer in dead men, Luther. But you're gonna be dead before I'm through with you.
Jabe, down!
Just knocked off the river crawfish, Jabe, that's all. Guns ain't no good.
He's still standing there, Jabe. He was dead already. You can't kill a dead man.
Run. Run for the buggy, Joe.
Pa, let him go.
They can't get away. I got a score to you.
Pa, where you going? Don't do nothing to him. Let him go. Pa, come back. Let him go, Pa. Let him go.
He's right behind us.
Come on. Here's a bridge.
Jabe, wait for me. Wait.
Give me a hand. I gotta get across. The buggy's not far on the other side. I got it all hitched up.
Well, I'm scared of it, Jabe. Go slow. Slow.
Come on.
Jabe, look. Lucy's on the other side.
Get out of the way, you. We're coming across.
He's everywhere. The nighttime's full of it. Jabe! The cable! The cable's breaking.
Hold on, Joe. Stay off the bridge, Luther. Stay off.
It's breaking. It's gonna fall. Oh, Luther, go back. Go back.
Hold on the rope. Joe, look out.
Oh, where are you, Paul?
Sarah Bell, what's the matter with you?
Where's they're gone? I saw them go down under the water, and they couldn't get out. It took them down to the river. All three of them down to the river.
What are you talking about, Sarah Bell? Here, stand back. You'll fall in.
They tried to get across the bridge, and it broke. They went tumbling in the water.
Sarah Bell, stop crying like that.
But I didn't think he'd come back like I asked him to. He was a dead man. He come out of the river wet. Joe and James couldn't get away from him. They run as fast as they could, trying to get away from him.
Sarah Bell, what are you talking about? It's pitch dark. Come on home.
But it really wasn't me, Wes. It was me. I took James and Henshaw and cut the cables. I did it. It was me that killed them.
Sarah Bell, that old bridge is so old it just broke from its own weight in the rain. But that don't matter now. Uncle Henry's down at the curb with some men. Fine when you are. I told you to be home when I got back.
But I was, Wes. James was going to kill me. He was going to
Sarah Bell, you're going clean out of your head. One of the men just found your paw wedging some rocks. Guess he tried to crawl out of the river. Most like they found Jabe and Josephine by now. Are you coming with me or not?
You don't believe me. You don't believe what happened.
Of course not. Here, put my coat around you. I gotta get you home before you're sick. Come on now, Sarah Bell.
You don't believe me. You don't believe me.
Down to the floor of the river, Josephine. Down in the slime and the dark. Come on, James. Come on, Josephine. Far away you can hear the rumble of the sea. Come on.
From the time-worn pages of the past, we have brought you the story, The River Man. Bellkeeper, toll the bell.
That's our show for tonight. I want to thank you all for listening. And remember, you can find me at Facebook at facebook.com/terror1970, or you can find me on Instagram at Radio Show Nerd, and also on Blue Sky at Terror Radio. I also have a YouTube channel where I feature, obviously, the podcasts as well as vintage television shows such as Suspense, Lights Out, Ray Bradbury Theater, Tales of Tomorrow, etc. Please check it out. Like and subscribe. Share the videos. It would be highly appreciated. Again, this is your host, Keith, better known as the Radio Show Nerd, signing off.